is Chantal and I'm a project coordinator in the environmental design program at UFusion. So I may not be the coordinator that's been in your classroom since the beginning of the year, yes I know. However, I am here to continue your environmental design program online. So just to clear things up, UFusion, who really cares about your education and does not want you to get bored during quarantine, will offer you 2 or 3 activities to do at home every week, whether it be watching a video or doing exercises. So your job is simple. Do the exercises or watch the videos every week. So this way we hope that you miss your coordinator or even your class a little less. So each week we are going to be tackling one profession that's related to environmental design. This week I'm going to talk to you guys about the profession of an architect. I'm going to be explaining its links or contribution to people's health. That is how architecture influences our well-being. So this is our first video together. I kindly ask you guys to take a seat, make yourself comfortable, whether it be at a chair, your desk, or your kitchen table, and let's get started. For starters, what is architecture? Well, it is the art of designing spaces and building buildings. Seeing it like this, you might be like, oh, it's so simple. But when in reality, it's actually way more than that. Architecture is a science and a set of techniques. To be an architect in Quebec, you need to have gone to university for 6 years and be part of the Quebec Order of Architects. So when you're an architect, you have to follow a set of rules. For example, there's building rules, building height, the light, the building ventilation. There's also aesthetics. Whatever you create has to be beautiful. Well, what do you consider to be beautiful? What was beautiful before isn't necessarily beautiful now. In addition, architects need to take into account social, health, and environmental aspects when they do their work. So buildings designed by architects include houses, cathedrals, museums, palaces, and business towers. The profession of the architect has a very, very long history. I won't dwell on this too much. However, I do prefer to show you guys some photos of the evolution of architecture. Today, we are going to be looking at habitable buildings, so houses. But just to know, I could have shown you guys the evolution of churches, public buildings, schools, and more. So we're going to start things off with the Quebec House. The Quebec House appeared in the early 19th century, around 1820. It is a symbol of Quebec's tradition that demonstrates aesthetic research and adaptation to winter conditions. Its key features are its curved roof, shaped like a circumflex accent. It's raised from the ground and has a wooden gallery. The shoebox-style house is typical of Montreal. It is small in size and without a basement. They allowed 20th century workers to leave their unsanitary neighborhoods and become homeowners. During the mid-20th century, at the time of the Second World War and during the housing crisis, Canada built tens of thousands of houses with a common floor plan and rapid assembly. The veteran house was modern at the time when it was built. It consisted of a small size, very simple, but with a large backyard. Following the baby boom, the bungalows were built to house families. Quebec bungalows are typically found in the suburbs. In the 1950s and the following decades, the bungalows were seen as the ideal family home by offering plenty of space. Obviously, there are many more examples that are more modern and more current, such as semi-detached houses, townhouses, multiplexes, condominiums that I'm sure you've seen before. However, it makes us ask the question, why this evolution? Or at least, what does it respond to? I'll let you guys think about it. I'll leave a link of a beautiful show hosted by Marc-André Carignan for you guys to watch later for more information. So as I mentioned before, architects take into account the social, environmental, and health aspects in their creations. So before I dive into this, let's take a concrete example. On March 13th, the government of Quebec closed all schools and a few days later set up a confinement for the population of the province. So pretty much most people stayed home. So we used to spend part of our time at school and another part of our time in spaces like streets, parks, ice hockey rinks, and soccer fields. And all of a sudden, we were at home for several days in a row. So I don't know about you, but this actually has given me time to see the usefulness of my home since I have nowhere else to go. This also has made me think about how the places we live and the cities are built. So in fact, how buildings are designed has an ability to influence health and well-being of the people who live there. So a well-designed and well-built building consisting of good building materials, lighting, ventilation, has a terrace, a balcony, or a courtyard. So when a building is well-built and well-designed, this could influence our well-being. It encourages us to move and live happily and freely. So our cities are designed in a way that lets us walk and cycle and go on beautiful walks in nature and lively public squares. But this situation has raised many questions when it comes to denser cities with more people. People fear that citizens will get scared of the virus and the social distancing measures and just flee to the suburbs and to wider spaces. So what do you think about it? Should we take into account space in this situation? How can we create a space or a city that takes into account different populations, where families, students, elderly, and kids can live in a beautiful space together, where we could exist in beautiful nature and public spaces as one? What would the ideal city look like to you? Think about it. So to conclude this video, I challenge you. Whenever we send you guys activities, to take pictures or videos of your process or your final product. Send these to your teacher, and then we'll be able to post them online on a forum where all students participating in this program can access. So you can look at other students' work that are participating in the super duper online program for environmental design. So if you accept this challenge, great, I can't wait to see your work. If not, it's okay. So stay tuned for next week for our awesome activities where we tackle another profession related to environmental design. It's going to be okay. Bye everyone!